Hey class, I hope you're watching this video so you can learn more about how to solve for different variables. I know we kind of went through it a little bit differently in class where you were doing all of the work, and so hopefully you were able to identify your own misconceptions, and hopefully I can shed some light on those as well when we go through this video of how to solve for different variables. So I pulled this question off of your notes. I think it's the third question or so, and then I'm just going to do solve for sigma and solve for n. And so those are going to be the two variables that we're going to solve in this video, and hopefully that will help you on your homework and help you be successful when solving for different variables. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the first one we're going to solve for sigma, and so we want sigma by itself. And I've already rewrote it where sigma is a different color. So it stands out. That's what we want by itself. That's what we're trying to get alone. And so we have to basically get rid of everything that's attached to it. And so one way we can do that is I can't really divide by anything right now, or multiply by anything, but what I could do is kind of combine by things. I can simplify one part of the equation, and so I'm going to kind of look at this part of the equation, and I'm going to look, can I simplify, can I combine anything? Well, this is just being multiplied, and that x is a whole number. It's in the numerator, so I could just multiply my numerators together. So I would have p equals x times sigma divided by the square root n, and we still want sigma by itself. So the next step would be to get rid of the fractions. We don't like fractions, let's get rid of them. And so we have the square root n on the bottom, and that's nasty. So let's get rid of it. Let's multiply by the square root of n. So when we multiply by the square root of n, there's one thing that we're not going to do, and I saw this a lot in class. We're not going to multiply this thing by the square root of n. We're not multiplying the denominator by square root n. We are multiplying the numerator by the square root of n. Okay, that n, when you multiply, you're multiplying by the numerator, not the denominator. So when you multiply with the numerator, then it goes to 1. If you leave it in the denominator, it doesn't go to 1, and then your equation's all weird. Okay, so it goes to the numerator, and then these can go to 1. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Okay, once we do that, we can kind of combine things. So we have square root n times p equals x times sigma. We're almost there. We have sigma, and it's attached to one other thing, and that other thing is that x. We need to get rid of that x. We need to move it to the other side. And that x is being multiplied with sigma. So to undo multiplication, we have to divide. So we're going to divide our sigma, x sigma by x. When we divide by that x, these go to 1. Divide the other side by x. So now we have the square root of n times p over x equals sigma. We got sigma by itself. We're golden. We got it done. Get her done, right? Okay, so we did one problem. Okay, that's probably more of the simpler kinds of problems, and then we get over to the left side where we got to get that thing to the square root by itself. And it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we can do it. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the same process. We're going to combine those numbers. So we have x times sigma divided by square root n. So we're going to take that x and we're going to multiply it by the stuff on the inside. So we have p equals x sigma divided by the square root n. Okay. We want that n by itself, but it's in the denominator. We cannot solve it when it's in the denominator, so we need to get it out of the denominator. And to do that, we're going to multiply. So we have this divided by x square root n, so we're going to multiply both sides by the square root of n. We're getting that out of the denominator. We want it gone away. And notice how I'm writing my times square root n in the numerator, not the denominator. So now I have the square root of my n times p equals x sigma. We're almost there. We have some stuff attached to that n. We have a square root and we have a multiplication by p. Okay? To get that n by itself, we have to get rid of this p. This p is being multiplied, so we're going to take the inverse and we're going to divide by p. Divide by p. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Once you divide by p, these go to 1, so you have the square root of n equals x sigma divided by p. Okay, that n's not by itself yet. We still have that square root, and so if we wanted to get rid of that square root, the inverse of square rooting a number is to square a number. Once we square the number, we now have n equals this stuff. Make sure when you are squaring the other side, you have to square everything, not just the x or not just the p. You have to square everything. And so we got n by itself, so we found our answer. If you have any questions, please email me. Please, 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 so I can help you. This is not easy, and I know it's not easy. So please come see me if you need help. I'm here to help you, and I want to help you so bad. So please use me as a tool and a resource. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm always available to you guys. And I hope you have a great spring break, and I will see y'all in a week.